Hello out there. Welcome to class, everyone. This is Restore and Refresh Yoga. Whether we like it or not, we're all getting to experience some hibernation. So we might as well make the most of it. And yeah, my name's Kathy, if I haven't met you yet. And I was just thinking as I was waiting for class to start that when I was a wee child and the eldest of four, my parents used to, back in the day when you just throw the kids into the backyard, and I'd be out there and feeling imprisoned because I was too young to go out on my own, and the gate would be locked, but I would stand in the backyard because I had some friends in the neighborhood, and I would just do that. I would call out, I would say, does anybody want to come over and play? So thanks for coming out to play, whatever day this is, whatever time it is for you. This is no small act of self-care that you're taking on here to just show up for class. So there doesn't need to be any grand expectations or anything that we need to fix or change at all. Of course, we all want to grow and learn new things, but sometimes we just need to go back to basics, keep it simple, have some fun, move in a way that feels healing and good for your body. I have been finding myself in kind of a big slouch a lot, spending way too much time on the couch. No matter what, I love to be outdoors and I try to get out as much as possible, but this is the reality. So that's the way it is. And I don't usually start a class like this standing up, but we are going to do that today. So we'll move a little more than we might usually. As far as things that would be helpful for your practice is support your body. I usually have a blanket. There's a couple of pillows. Today, I'm going to ask us to have a strap or a scarf or a bathrobe belt. And if there's something that you like to sit up on, it could be the cushions or it could be a chair, the edge of the couch or a bed. At some point, we'll use that. I have a nice firm meditation cushion that I use, but let's just begin by taking a place standing up. Looking down towards the feet, lifting the toes, wiggling them a little bit just to feel some connection with the feet, this important part of the body that keeps us grounded, all of our sensory receptors in the feet. And then laying the toes out there. And just be soft in your body. We don't need to try to be standing in any correct posture. We're really just to begin to connect or reconnect with our bodies. And as we do that, also just to keep an open awareness that there are other friends, this community, some gratitude towards our ability to practice some yoga, some mindful movement and meditation together for the benefit of ourselves and for the impact that all of that will also have on other beings that are in our path today. Just keeping the attention on the feet as you feel whatever is there. Some heaviness, some support. The arches or lack of. Standing and knowing that we're standing. Really simple. Just present to any sensations that are predominant in the body as the spine rises up from the ground. And just scan through the body. Maybe one hip feels a little to the side or May have an overarch in the back, just taking these things in without any judgment. Feeling some draw or some lifting through the crown of the head, maybe just by being aware of how we're standing, things might shift a little bit. We might feel a little more awake, a little bit taller. Take a few moments to rest the attention on the breath here. Not needing to change or fix anything, just the breath as it is and where you're feeling that in the body right now. This is all practice, so we don't need to get it right. Might even feel some anxiety in focusing in the breath or trying to hold ourselves still. So I can feel a little vibration as my limbs are shaking a little bit. Maybe there's a bit of rocking forward and back. So it doesn't need to be like concrete here. There's always some dynamic related to the breath as you stand and breathe. Let's take about 5 more, breathing in and out through the nose. Just having some attention on half breath at a time, the inhale, the expanding, the lifting. And then there's a corresponding grounding with each exhale, breathing in and out through the nose. Pulling the energy up from the ground and then exhaling to bring it back down, releasing something. Let's take 1 more inhale. Little pause at the top and then exhale, let that go. Your eyes have been closed. You can blink them open now. And just begin to let the movements get a little bigger. So a sway from side to side can lose your balance a little bit here, shifting from left to right, forward and back, lifting up on the heels. And then on the tippy toes, just moving the feet in that way and just letting the arms and the rest of the spine follow along. And then let's bounce a little bit more. So just bouncing on the heels, however that feels interesting to you. Shaking out the arms, the jaw. It can be just a very small movement, slight lifting of the heels. You can start to feel some work in the legs, or you can be lifting off the ground if you find that is calling you. Let's take some breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Let's do some throws here. So actively reaching the arms up. You can just stop the shaking. And then exhale. Inhaling with some sound, some exhale, some enthusiasm. Inhale. And exhale 1 more time. Breathing in. And letting that go. Coming back up. Feeling the energy just from those few exhalations, starting to move some things through. And then let's swing it out. So let's take the feet a little bit wider than hips distance apart and shift your weight from left to right. Let the arms just spin around. There's nothing to correct in this. Just letting the arms be as loose as possible, the shoulders. Warming up a little bit, perhaps a little more focus on the exhales as we twist and bring some things out. Again, you can make sounds if that's okay in your space. You're not disturbing anybody else's meeting. As we slow that down, let's keep going with some contact with the knuckles or fingers tapping into the chest. clearing out any congestion this time of year or this season of what we know is out there. Clearing it all out. Wherever you can reach to, so even in the back, or in the kidneys, around the throat. The thyroid gland, and then dusting off. Oxytocin stimulated in the brain when we do this type of just a light massage, skin stimulation. You can just look at your own, nothing to look at on me, but just look at your own limbs as you do that with some kindness. Just noticing the relationship, even as we look at our bodies. We might feel some things coming up, body parts that are a little, we might not care for so much. So these are love taps, dusting things off, just releasing something here. Coming back to stand again. Taking a moment to breathe in and out through the nose. And feeling into your body now with a little more aliveness. Let's do a few sun breaths, reaching the arms up on the inhale. And then exhale, just reach the arms out and back down. Arms reach up on the inhale. And then reaching out, really mindfully stretch out through the fingertips and bring them back down by the hips. Let's reach up, maybe look up, inhale. And reach out, exhale. Moving on to some half sun salutations, arms reaching up. And then folding over the legs, quite a bend at the knees, just checking in with the hamstrings and the back as you come down and chin towards the chest. Let's take a few extra breaths in this first forward fold, if it's okay for you to have your head below the heart. And then let the inhale bring you up halfway, hands to shins or thighs. A little draw and lift of the lower belly, and then exhale, belly towards the thighs again. Let it go. Let's roll up through the spine, press into the feet, bend the knees a lot, just let the arms dangle, keep the chin in towards the chest. And as you roll the shoulders up and down the back, let's do that again. Reach the arms up, inhale. And then fold over the legs, any expression with the arms as you exhale to the bottom. Chin to chest, let's move with the in-breath coming up halfway, looping the shoulders, drawing the belly a little. And then exhale, folding, seeing those feet again, supporting this whole structure. Let's roll up through the spine. Knees bend, ripple on up. Loop the shoulders back, and then let's do that again. Inhale. And fold, exhale. Let's come up halfway is the breath in. And the exhale to fold. And this time you can either roll up or just open the arms and come up with a long spine, press into the feet. Inhale. Let's bring the thumbs to the heart, exhale. Let's do two more just with the breath. So arms reaching is the inhale. Exhaling to fold. Halfway lengthens. Breathing in and then exhale, softening down. The inhale is the reach up. And the exhale, thumbs to heart. Last one on your own, just the breath. Doesn't matter if you're not doing this exact thing, just going at your own pace. We'll all meet at the top once again in equal standing. And roll the shoulders out a few times. Some big circles. We're circling out the elbows. Let's do that in both directions. And let's reach the arms up and press the palms up towards the ceiling. And then we'll take a cat spine. So we'll press palms forward and draw the belly in and back, coming into some flexion. Let's lift up on the inhale. Let the tailbone heavy, send the breastbone up towards the ceiling, either pressing the palms up or you can just open the arms there. The shoulders are tight and then press forward again. Let's look down, chin to chest, hollowing the belly. Lifting up, press palms to the ceiling or just open the arms, a little upper back bend, protecting the lower back with the tailbone heavy. And then exhale one more time into that cat shape. Lifting up, inhale. Exhale, release the arms. Let's take the strap or band, whatever you have. And have enough space between your arms so that you can lift just above your space. Let's take it up and over towards the right. Try to pull the strap apart and then inhale, center. Press down through the feet, lengthen up and over towards the left. Just a little side stretch. Using the arms to work away from each other a little bit here. Let's come back to center, inhale and lower that down. Reach up on the inhale. You might need to adjust your hand position. And then let's move the strap back in space. I bet you can bend the knees here. And you can take the arms back to where it's feels a little bit edgy, but tolerable for you. Maybe coming down. Seeing the stickiness here, wherever that is, to lower. And then just that back half of the journey coming up on the inhale. And exhale to bring it back. And one more in. And exhale there. Good. Let's release the strap. Take it over top of the right shoulder. And we'll reach both arms straight up this time. And take the right hand down. And take the left hand to the right elbow. Hug the right elbow in a little bit here. And this could be your pose, keeping the ribs knitting down towards the hips. Or you can take your left arm, reach it out, flip the palm back, and then slide to wherever you might find the other end of that strap. Wiggling your hands, actively drawing the elbows away from each other, maybe pressing the head back into the strap a little bit here for 3. Stay nice and wide through the rib cage for 2. And 1, releasing. And then doing a little bit of just loose arm orchestra conducting, one elbow over the other elbow for 3, 2. Exhaling through the mouth, and 1. Nice, let's switch it over for the other side and reach the arms up. Let's flip the palms back. Drop the left hand down. Let's see how it might be different on this side. Right hand to left elbow, drawing back in space. You can stay here for a few breaths or wrap the right arm around. Take a hold of the other end of the strap. And then move the elbows away from each other. Drawing the head back a little bit for 3, 2, and 1. Release the arms. One more time, moving out, crossing at the elbows, rolling the shoulders a little bit as well. Might find a little more mobility in the upper back. Last thing. The knuckles face back for this one, and the hands, the backs of the, the fingernails are facing away from yourself. It's going to bend the knees a little bit here with the feet hips distance apart. Feel that upper back bend, can stay here with it, or take it into a forward fold, bending the knees, letting the belly rest on the thighs, and maybe the arms can move away from the back, pulling on that strap. If you don't need the strap, if you prefer to clasp your hands together, that's great. Shaking a little bit, nodding out the head. Let's bend the knees, draw the chest forward. Arms back to lift up again to stand. Inhale. And then let's change the grip. So this time let's have the backs of the hands facing back. So your fingernails will be facing in towards your seat. Just a little different movement in the shoulders. Might need to adjust how far apart your hands are on this band. Or again, you can just clasp your hands behind with the other thumb on top. Breathing in to stand tall. And then exhale to fold, belly to thighs, maybe releasing the arms away from the back. For 3. And out, just coming back to your pace of breath. The count is just to keep us connected. Don't have to be breathing to my count. 2. And 1, bend the knees, almost like you're sitting in a chair. Reach your chest forward and up, and then straighten the legs to come up. Good. Let's release the strap, work a little bit with our hands rolling out through the wrists, spreading the fingers. Let's take the left hand forward. Use your right thumb to press into the left palm and stretch out the back of the left arm. Pulling down a little bit. And then the other left thumb, right palm, pressing out through the back of the right wrist. Good. Let's take the left hand and press it forward and draw the fingers back a little bit here, or just feel some lengthening. You can press your right palm into that. And the other side, other hand, left hand into right palm. I've got a bend at my right elbow, reaching the fingertips up. Good, let's circle out the thumbs, or just some figure 8 loops, and the pointer fingers in the middle. Ring, maybe you're doing a lot more screen time and typing. Baby finger. Squeeze fists and slowly unfurl. And then squeeze in, slowly bring the thumb, bring the other fingers, see what that feels like. And then open up one more time. Clasp the hands together here and roll around, swim. And then shake it all off. Shake, shake, shake. We'll come on to the hands and knees now. So I'll just bring things in a little closer. Feel free to use a blanket underneath your knees for some padding. And let's bring the hands forward. Setting the hips back towards a child's pose. Slowing things down here for 5 breaths. Tops of the feet are down, some space for the belly with the knees a little bit wide for 4. 3. 2. And 1. Shift through a table shape. Palms press and take a few cat and cow, drawing the chest through, squeezing the shoulder blades, and then exhale to lift the low belly, chin to chest. Inhale, draws the heart forward. Exhale, lifts the ribs. Inhaling. And exhaling. Let's curl the toes under. Bringing the big toes towards each other and press back into another child's pose. With the feet curled under, toes curled under, so the bottoms of the feet get a stretch. Pressing away from the hands or walking the hands in closer. You can to shift some more weight back towards the heels and get into the arches, the space between the toes. Some who can tolerate it might be sitting up. Should be able to still return to breath or just the area in the body where you're feeling lots of sensation. You can always come out of poses sooner or take it to a higher stand up here. Backing it off and then coming back in. One more breath. And let's shift that forward again. We'll wrap out the tops of the feet. And then walk the hands over towards the left as you sit back towards your right sits bone, a little extra weight over to the right. Make a fist with the left hand and rest the forehead on the fist, crawling the right fingertips over to that side. Holding poses a little longer now and slowing down. Just feeling what you feel. Walking the hands through center and over to the other side. Lift up a little bit the belly and slowly start to come back towards the left seat. Making a fist with the right hand and resting the forehead there. Lifting up a little the left fingertips and on the left fingertips so the palm is lifted and drawing back. Left shoulder, left hip sink towards the ground for one more inhale. And exhale through center. Shifting back into that table shape and walking the hands a little further forward. Hands, or you can use fists, or you can be down on your forearms to do a few hip circles here. Coming over to one side, let the pelvis drop, and then over to the other side. Just feeling it all out, all of the accumulation, tensions, for whatever reason that are in the body. Everything is in the body. You might be feeling the stress in the mind, reactions to external events. Let's come around the other side. But we can move and find it located somewhere in our bodies. We don't need to know where. Just feeling into that. And shift back up through table. Let's have a twist here. So the right palm a little bit forward and a little bit off to the right. Open up the left arm, breathing in. And then wrapping the left arm underneath the right arm, just coming down part way. You can bend the right elbow and then open up again to breathe in. Exhale, left palm comes under. Inhale, it opens. And then exhale to come down and come all the way down to the left shoulder. Resting the left side of the head with the ear on the ground or close to it. You can always put a blanket or something underneath your head. You've got time to move things into place. So this is going to be useful for you, having that attitude of showing up, being present. Anything in the body, anything sensory that we can be aware of lets us know that we're in reality in the here and now. Let's press into the right palm and lift up. And switch sides. So left hand a little forward, a little bit wide to make some space, and the right arm opens up. And then wrap the right arm under and across, come all the way over to rest the right shoulder. Let's open that up again, inhale. And exhale, sliding under. You may be still quite lifted. One more time to open, dropping the left side of the rib cage, and then bringing that arm under, and this time just try to find a place where you can pause. Your left hand might move it a little closer. Feeling the movement of the breath in this twist to help to the efficiency of the digestive organs. Another breath in and out. Let's come back up to the hands and knees. And take the hands way forward now. Keep the hips up nice and high. Send the chest towards the floor. You can rest your forearms, maybe your forehead, or something can go underneath there. Just rest the forearms and still feel a little draw in the belly. Fingertips crawl way forward. Or perhaps if your elbows can come down towards your skull, then the palms can come to rest towards the back of the head. So want to squeeze the elbows in quite a bit. Getting a nice stretch underneath the arm, the tricep, reaching the elbows forward for 3, 2, and 1. Let's shift back up to grab something. It's not necessarily needed, but it's nice to have a pillow underneath your rib cage for this, especially if you have any lower back compression for back bends. You can have your palms stacked one on top of the other, pillow underneath your rib cage, maybe even a little bit in the very lower rib cage. Resting the forehead there, stretching the left leg back and then the right leg back, and just letting them be floppy. Going to keep the palm or the hands on the floor, and then start to draw the breastbone forward, the sternum forward a little bit, so we come into a little bit of a back bend. See how that feels in the lungs. See if you can find some breath in the back body. And then lower that back down. Forehead resting on the palms. Let's do that a few times. So the pillow is there if you have it to keep the lower back nice and long as you move the sternum forward. If you're doing this without the pillow, it's fine. Just make sure you're only coming to a point where you're not feeling pain or compression in the lower back. And lower down. A couple more of those, or you can take the hands and the forehead up together. So there's a little more of an active strengthening in the upper back here. And lower that down. And one more time, breathing in. Wherever you're at here, let's take a few breaths. Lengthening from the base of the pelvis all the way out through the crown of the head for 3, 2, and 1. Lower that down. Let's wiggle the elbows now so they're underneath the shoulders. You can take a hold of opposite elbows. If you are feeling that compression, unsafeness in the lower back, then take the elbows further forward. Just experiment with what feels like it makes sense for your spine right now. Just looking down the tip of the nose. You can drop your chin in if it feels like you're holding your head up. And you can always take the elbows further forward if you need to, or bring the forehead right back down onto the hands. Just maybe take a look out over the right shoulder so we tap into those scanning for danger muscles, and through center, kind of looking around behind us to see what's there. And one more time on each side. Come back to center. See if you can find a way to be relaxed for a few more breaths. You could also clasp your hands together, might give you a bit more support, and let your thumbs come between the eyebrows. It's different every day, visiting each posture with fresh experience. Nothing needs to be happening here. Nothing's wrong when the mind is spinning out, getting caught up in future or what's for lunch. Just returning to body and breath. As a practice, like lifting a weight in the fitness room, those bicep curls for the mind. Let's lower that down. Slide the hands back. Let's press ourselves up and back. So just taking a break from being on the knees. Let's slide over and take our counter pose with the soles of the feet together. A wide diamond shape. You do have pillows, and it makes sense for you to have some support underneath the upper thighs and the knees. That might be really nice. And then let yourself drape forward, finding some flexion there. If it feels like a strain on the lower back to fold into that at all, then you can stay sitting up. You can use the fingertips behind the back, or you can be sitting up on one of those pillows as well. A bit of more of a booster for the sits bones. Take the time to see how these different variations line up with your bones, muscles, and joints today. Let the oxygen fill the lower lungs. Fire up the parasympathetic nervous system, calming. Mind can be super active or still, building up those muscles of skillful response rather than reactivity. Shift our way up. If you're sitting on something, it's okay to stay on that, but we'll take the feet apart. And we'll do a really slow windshield wiper pressing. I'll go over to the left with the right shin pressing down. And then slowly bring that knee up and have the left shin press down. Let's do that a couple times. Coming over towards the left. And then back over towards the right. I'm kind of leaning back, a little bit of a slouch into my hands. This time coming over towards the left and letting your right hip lift up. You can use your right hand, sort of roll it around, walking the left arm around a little further. So you're wrapping your rib cage, taking a twist over towards the left, just looking over the left shoulder. Could also rest down on your left elbow. See how that changes the pose for you. Maybe a little more hip flexor stretch on that right side. Those muscles that connect from the lower back, they get super tight with all the sitting. Let's bring it back through, up and over to the other side. So left shin presses. Now you might bring your left knee a little closer to the right foot if that helps get into the twist, lifting and rolling. that side of the pelvis, walking the right arm around. So you're looking over the right shoulder, and you might come down on your right elbow. Just rest your left hand wherever that makes sense, on the floor, or you can keep it on your hip. Sometimes the breath is a little bit uncomfortable, but not a strain. Just moving it into those digestive organs again with these twists. The self-compassion, the heart openers, and then the twist to detoxify this beginning of a new year. Let's come back through center. Lean back into the hands again and just shake out the legs. Shake, shake, shake. Let's sit up for a moment. You could sit on a cushion, or you could sit in a chair, whatever you like. My big meditation cushion, that if you enjoy the hero's pose, you're sitting up on something, maybe you have some blocks at home, and the feet they're not right underneath the seat, but they're hugging in close to the blocks or the cushion. Let's shrug the shoulders up to the ears to breathe in. And let it go. Inhale. And exhale. And once more, breathing in. And out, right ear to right shoulder. Stretch the left fingers away. Pressing out through the left palm. Feeling some things light up on the left side of the neck as we start to look out over the right shoulder. Left fingertips can rest at the side, or that hand, if it can rest at the lower back with the palm facing back. This feels nice sometimes. Nodding the chin slightly down on the right, and then up towards the ceiling on a diagonal on that right side. Chin drops. Chin lifts. Little circles over here, anything that feels compelling. And open and close the jaw. Move the facial muscles around a bit. See how that gets into the neck. On the left side, let's release the left arm, chin towards the chest. Over left ear to left shoulder. Right arm reaches away, palm pressing out. Nodding the chin over the left shoulder. Just relax the right arm, or maybe rest it around the lower back. So there's a little internal rotation in that right shoulder, and now have the chin slightly down on the left. And then up towards the ceiling on that diagonal. Little circles on this side with the tip of the nose. And open and close the jaw. Slowly take it through center. And then in your own time, taking a few semicircles left to right. One more big loop of the shoulders. Coming back to pause, just sitting and knowing that we're sitting. We'll release from that seat and come onto the back. If the floor is hard, you can keep something underneath yourself. You have your pillows nearby. This might be handy to use, pillows or blocks. Let's take it onto the back and take a big stretch out. Walk the heels over towards the right, just a few inches or even centimeters. And then shift the head and shoulders to the right as well. Take a hold of the left wrist or hook the thumbs together. Nodding the chin down towards the chest to open up the whole left side body. Heels back through center, heels over to the left, shift the head and shoulders, catch a hold of the left elbow, wrist, or hook the thumbs together for this side to open up. Sometimes I like to cross my ankles to lessen any strain or work in the legs. Let's come through center and hug both knees in towards the chest for a squeeze. And circle the knees away from each other. Hands on tops of the knees or thighs, wherever you can reach to. If you need something underneath your head, if it feels like it's falling back, then please take care of that. And the other way. And then just the left leg reaching long, the right thigh coming in towards the chest for a squeeze. And switch. So left knee in, right leg long, hugging the left thigh in towards the chest, and then keep going. So just right to left for a few stretches out there. Also a little pump of the organs. Let's bring both knees in again for a squeeze. Let's bring the feet to the floor. We'll take a pillow or the block or a folded up blanket and place it underneath the hips. So we're going to lift up a little bit, then slide the, whatever that is, gives you some height, not too much. So it's not in the lower back, but it's really supporting the lower part of the pelvis. And stretch the left leg out and then the right leg out. A bit more opening for the front line. Make sure a lot of the back is on the floor. So even down to the lower ribs, you can let the center line drop in there. Your shoulder blades are firmly grounded. If it's too much, just do one leg at a time. Or keep the knees bent, both of them, and still having the opening and getting some blood flow back to the heart and the face. You can also add the arms if you like to take the elbows and reach them. Catch them above your head. Just let the feet be floppy here for 3, 2, 1. Lower the arms and then walk the feet in one at a time if they were extended. Let's take the right leg up towards the ceiling now. And then see if the left leg can come up there as well. And just be really loose in the legs and jiggle it out. Kind of the opposite of what we did when we were standing. Now we're not weight bearing. And still getting that jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. And fluids moving through. Can add the arms as well. Wiggling the arms a little to the left and the legs a little to the right. And then back and forth, sort of seaweed or spaghetti. Let the hands come somewhere along the thighs, inner thighs or outer thighs, to support opening up the legs any amount. And then circling out through the ankles. Just doing a few circles. If you find the mind is wandering again into future planning or going over something from earlier, just let your attention rest in your feet. You can rock your head from side to side too. Pointing and flexing the toes. And then see if you can relax the muscles of the legs and the arms and just use this bit of a balancing to feel a nice stretch in the inner thigh or whatever it is that you might be feeling there. Something a little juicy or delicious, or maybe it's a tight spot, some irritation.
We'll use our hands to bring the legs back together. Bend the knees for a squeeze. Place the feet back on the floor. We'll do a bit of bridge to lift the hips enough to take that support, if you have it underneath your hips, out of the way. Wiggle your fingers down towards your heels. If that feels good, puff up between the shoulder blades a bit, puff the chest towards the chin. Just making sure there's no compression in the neck. So there's a little space behind there. So it's best not to have something underneath your head when you come into these bridging poses. Let's lift the heels, breathing in. With the heels lifted, lower down. It's like you're spreading out the spine, one vertebra at a time, laying it out. And bringing the feet back to the floor. Let's take the pillow or the block, have it over on the left side of the mat, slide the hips over to the right. And put that support between your knees as they fall to the left or underneath your thighs. Between your shins, adjusting so that your right shoulder can be resting on the ground. Your knees can be high up towards your left elbow with your arms open wide, or they might be a little bit lower. Take your time here to do that. Maybe look over towards the right shoulder. You can close your eyes. That's comfortable here, and let's fall into this is my slow 5 counts. If you like, you can breathe and keep your attention on the breath just for the half breath. Starting over for the next half breath for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take your time, slowly bring yourself back to center. If it wasn't quite right on that side, if you needed something underneath your head, all these adjustments that we make to care for ourselves that will translate to our ability to also do that off the mat in a conversation, or to do that for somebody else. So knees over to the right, something between the shins or underneath the shins. Seeing how this side might be different. Your arms don't need to be wide. Maybe your left arm, your left shoulder, mine's a little more, has a harder time reaching the ground on this side. So adjusting the height of the knees and the left arm, maybe lower beside the hip. Your right hand can add some weight to your left thigh. Looking over the left shoulder, only if the left shoulder is actually connected to the ground and your neck agrees. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knees back to center. Hugging the knees in and rocking a little left and right. The pose I'll leave you in for the last few minutes. If you do have some the pillows, or it can be a blanket. This is just one option for a babbling brook. So I've got a pillow underneath my upper thighs. And then the pillow it goes pretty flat when I lie down on it for the upper back. So something that doesn't have your head feeling like it's falling too far back in space. If that's happening for you, then you can put something else underneath your head. You can even hold your head with your hands, kind of like you're reclining in the lounge chair. Or maybe whatever's underneath your back is a little too much. Sometimes I'll use just a folded up blanket right in the area where the heart rate monitor would be. So that the shoulders and the head are more in symmetry on the ground. So see how you'd like to finish with a few minutes of rest. I know this is hard to take the time out to give this to yourself. The benefits are huge. Our ability for our immune system to restore itself, to help keep digesting and training those mental muscles of patience, kindness, letting the body just be here with all that it has to share. You find that your mind keeps getting hooked into a train of thought. That's okay. Nothing wrong is happening. You just come to something that feels like a support and anchor. Hands on the heart or the abdomen, or just opening to the field of hearing sounds. And if you're feeling really tired and doze off, great. If you're feeling agitated, wanting to get on with things, no problem, just noticing that as well, building those muscles of awareness. I'll leave you here to continue to rest if you have time and inclination. So much appreciation for yourself, for the effort to show up, and for all of us who all here in some way want to stay connected and healthy and well while we are apart. May the merits of our time and practice, whenever we get to it, be of benefit to both ourselves and others. Namaste. Have a great rest of your day or evening. See you soon, I hope.